The team defense was there. The shots just didn't go down, and Steph Curry will have an update on his ankle in just a second, but apparently he tweaked it, trying to split a double team and rolled his ankle on Pat Bev's foot. We'll talk more about that later in the show, but look, a good test for the Golden State Warriors. They were right there against the championship team. Mully just didn't have enough to get over the hump, and defensively, the 13-4 run by the Clippers really did the Warriors in.
Yeah, the Clippers, they showed why they're a championship contender. They play both sides of the ball. Defensively, they're really tough, Darrell. They can switch across the board with Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, and Nicholas Batum, an underrated acquisition by the Clippers. So you got some length there, all very good individual defenders. They're tied together. They're a veteran team. And when it got down to late in the fourth quarter, Kawhi Leonard showed why he's a two-time NBA Finals MVP, made all the plays, both scoring and assisting.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of positives for the Warriors after this game, playing and competing at a high level with the Clippers. Like you said, a championship team. I just think you just got to make a few more shots down the stretch, and those guys have a deep, deep team, a deep bench, and, you know, the vets came in and made some clutch shots down at the end, like Batum and Patrick Beverley.
Yeah, Steph Curry came back down to earth tonight, Mullen, but that was due to the Clippers, right?
No doubt. They've got a defense that's tied together as a team, the Clippers do. And probably most importantly, they got big-time individual defenders.
Yes.
So Patrick Beverley can push up and pressure Steph. They can double team, and then he can also pass them off to Paul George and Kawhi Leonard.
No doubt. Steph Curry with only 13 points tonight.
Pascal going out there getting, 19 a night and just holding it down to Steph, you know, got comfortable, tried to get comfortable with all those different schemes they threw at him. But I think it was a great game all the way around. Probably just got to tune up a few things and get ready for the next one.
Yeah, the encouraging part for the Warriors is I thought their defense was solid throughout. And look, this is a big-time defensive team, so they didn't really find their rhythm enough to get the win. But I think a few tweaks. But, you know, I think Steve Kerr will be happy with the effort defensively. Now, you know, just tweak the offense a little bit and just find a little more firepower. Like you said, Darrell, again, Bonta, you said six man of the year.
Right.
Eric Pascal, big time off the bench.
No doubt. 6 man of the year. We're going to pump that up here on Warriors Post Game Live, presented by Toyota.
With the Raptors, so, you know, when it's time to get a bucket and be a playmaker, they give the ball to Kawhi. But I think it was a big turning point with the flagrant foul, him being able to get those 2 free throws, then Batum and Beverley knocking down those open threes. That was the ball game right there.
13-4 run, Mully, and Batum, as you mentioned, hitting big threes. A veteran, another veteran presence coming in from Charlotte. We thought the guy was asleep, thought he was done. Nice role for the Clippers, man. He hit some big shots.
Big-time acquisition for Batum, and I think this is a perfect role for him. I think in Charlotte, he had that big contract. No matter what he did, it wasn't enough. Right. But here, I think he's whatever he does, he's actually got to play a game. One day off, they got to play him again. They don't want him getting any rhythm.
No rhythm.
So that's the #1 goal of that defense, is to shut Steph Curry down.
All right, let's go back to Chase Center here from Fitz and Buki on that matchup Friday night. It'll be game 2 of this 2-game set between the Warriors and the Clippers.
Well, when you play a team twice in 3 days, it's all adjustments and game plan. I don't think the Clipper game plan is going to be any different. A million guys guard Steph Curry, and what does he do with the ball? Now, he gave up the ball, but I think the Warriors got something out of James Wiseman, but they can get more. On all the lobs, all the pick and roll, I think he can be even more of a weapon than his 10 points.
I would definitely love to see more pick and roll with James Wiseman. Just pick and roll in general with the Warriors. They usually get something good at it. But early in the game, the shot selection wasn't great. And I thought at the end of the game, the execution wasn't great. The shot selection wasn't great. Guys weren't on the same page at times. On the offensive side, there was some turnovers. 13 turnovers is great. But if you look a little deeper, there was 9 in the second half, and there was some late ones there. So offensively, the Warriors can be a little better. Again, the three-point shot's going to be up and down. You can't really rely on that if you're the Warriors. But just execution, getting better looks, knowing when to show and go, get all the way to the basket. And defensively, this is a great offensive team in the Clippers right now, and they executed and showed their experience.
You think about 23 made threes against Sacramento, then 8 of 30 against the Clippers. To beat an elite team, you're going to have to make some of those open threes, but how those threes are created and who takes them becomes important.
It's funny and frustrating, too, because the Warriors really had a good defensive night.
They really did.
For a lot of this night. How many times were we saying, wow, great on-ball defense there. Wow, you did a great job guarding Kawhi Leonard. They got to that three-point line. They ran him off the three-point line. Great contest. In the last 5 minutes, there were some plays where, okay, a little overhelp here, you come double, maybe at the wrong time. Kawhi sees you coming, throws right to the three-point line. So just being a little more solid on the defensive side like you were the whole game. Again, you may still lose, but just a little better on the defensive side the last 5 minutes. You got to be better on both sides of the floor there.
This stretch of the schedule, do the Warriors belong? Are they a legitimate playoff team? The Clippers are really good. They're a title contender. They didn't outclass the Warriors. They executed down the stretch, but the Warriors were in the game. Let's see if they can do the same thing on Friday with maybe a different outcome.
All right, here on the other side, we'll hear from Steve Kerr on the Warriors having their 2-game winning streak snapped. They'll play the Clippers again Friday night. We'll hear from Steve Kerr coming up next here on Warriors Post.
Is there any word on Steph's ankles? It looked like he tweaked it right at the end of the game there.
He did tweak it. He told me it's not serious. So he'll come in tomorrow and get treatment, and we'll check it out. But the good news is Steph does not think it's anything too serious.
Hi, Steve. Brian Wood with NBC Sports Bay Area. Both sides got off to a bit of a slow start tonight. I'm wondering, do you think that what happened earlier today in the Capitol had anything to do with that?
I thought both teams were playing great defense, Brian. There was a strange energy in the air at the start of the game, and that may have been a factor. But I saw two teams really competing, and we have gotten so much better at the defensive end over the last week or 10 days. And the Clippers, obviously, after last night's loss to San Antonio, I thought they came out and played a great defensive game. So maybe a combination of all that.
What do you think was the largest offensive issue for you guys tonight?
Just not a ton of rhythm or flow. I mean, we played a team that's going to be, at full strength like they were tonight, one of the best defensive teams in the league with a ton of length. And so they did a really good job. I thought they played an excellent defensive game. They hounded Steph and we couldn't find a rhythm. But I was really proud of the guys. I mean, they hung in there the whole game. Our second unit, led by Eric Paschall, came in, did a fantastic job in the fourth to help us take a lead, and we had a shot. But give the Clippers credit; they played really well.
He used Andrew Wiggins to guard Kawhi Leonard. Is he basically your prime wing stopper at this point when you're going against guys like Kawhi?
Yeah, Andrew and Kelly both. There's in this league you have to have size and length on the wings to guard people like Paul George and Kawhi Leonard. So both Kelly and Andrew have been really good defensively. I thought they were excellent again tonight, and so it's a really positive sign. I love this team. I love our guys. They're great guys. They're competing like crazy. They're absorbing things. They're getting better every day, and it's fun to see them every morning when I come into the gym. So this is a really good group, and we're going to improve quite a bit over the course of the season.
Kate Rooney from Cron 4. You mentioned that you've seen these guys make some defensive improvements over the last couple of games. What adjustments have you seen them make?
I think Draymond's return is the biggest thing. Kate, he's the best defensive player in the world. He guards everybody. He keeps the defense connected. And so the combination of his return plus, everybody starting to understand what we're trying to accomplish defensively, I think that's the reason for the change.
CJ Peterson, San Francisco Examiner. Steve, you mentioned you like that lineup with Wiggins, Bazemore, Lee, Paschall, and Watermaker, particularly in the fourth quarter, that really kind of kept you guys around, especially when LA kind of threw their starters back in. What do you like particularly about that group, and what makes them really so tough as far as defensively and making some shots too?
Well, we've got shooters in that lineup, and we've got Eric Paschall to play through. You know, we've sort of just discovered this lineup over the past week since Marquise's injury. You know, it shifted Eric to the 5, and he looks very well suited to that role. You know, he played 20 minutes. He got 14 shots up. So he's an offensive force, and with that group, he's got shooters around him, and we're going to get him the ball quite a bit. So I think it's been a good fit. I think Kent Bazemore has been fantastic. You know, Mike Mulder came in, knocked down a shot in the first half, and gave that group a boost. But I like what the bench is doing overall.
What did you see out of Wiseman today?
I think you know, playing against a great team like the Clippers, a team that has all that experience and length and that does all that switching, it's not an easy team to play against for a young guy. So great learning experience for him tonight. You know, every day is a help for him. You know, getting game experience, seeing all the pictures in front of him, and being able to watch the film the next day and make adjustments from there.
Draymond's obviously done it.
Steve Kerr loving where his team is at right now, says they're getting better defensively, feels like they'll be a lot better a month or two from now. But he also talked about Draymond Green being the best defensive player in the world, which has helped the Warriors get better on that end of the floor.
No question. And tonight, they held the Clippers to 44% from the field, 32 from the three-point line.
Yeah.
The Clippers did go 25 for 25 from the free throw line. That was a big help to them. With that defensive effort, that's you got to love that. They didn't necessarily find that rhythm and flow offensively to reward themselves, but they've been down this road before. Right. So maintain that defensive effort and let the offense. Good attention to detail to the scouting report. You saw Kelly Oubre get out there in transition, and another really solid performance from Andrew Wiggins.
Yeah, no doubt. Yes.
From game 2, he's been solid and above average. He's really played well. And Steve Kerr, he also recognized, and I totally agree, the Clippers are one of the best defensive teams in the league, right? They can slow that pace down, which they prefer, which they did tonight. Made it like a playoff atmosphere, that type of pace. But think about it, especially against a guy like Steph Curry. They can put Patrick Beverley on him, pressure 94 feet, and then behind him, you've got Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, and Nicholas Batum. That's length, switchability. That's a heck of a defensive unit out there, Darrell.
It definitely is. And a former teammate of mine, Batum, you know, he loves to challenge the guard, whoever it is on the offensive end, you know, whatever, take the point guards out. And then you talk about Paul George and Kawhi Leonard, you know, two of the best two-ways in the league. So it's going to be tough for Steph, but, you know, I think they'll figure it out how to get him more easier looks.
Yeah, and not a whole lot of adjustments, you know, for the second game. I think the one thing you would try and do from that great defense you played, just push the pace a little bit.
Yeah.
The Clippers want to play a slow pace. I think the Warriors would rather play a little faster.
Glad you brought up Wiggins, man. He did a pretty good job.
Playing great. He's playing great basketball. Playing great basketball.
Great teams, veteran teams at that. You know, they're well prepared. You know, they're locked in on the defensive side and also the preparation. So, you know, it's just one of those nights for Steph. And it's going to happen. When you're one of the best players, one of the best scorers in this league, that's what's going to happen. So the Warriors did a great job of figuring it out and holding the lead and, you know, keeping them in the game, and everybody else stepped up. So it's going to be nights like this.
When you hear Darrell and myself talk, or the coaches speak after the game, flow and rhythm, usually refer to offense. There's a flow and a rhythm to defense, too.
Yes.
And the Clippers, their 3 main defensive players have been together. Patrick Beverley, Kawhi Leonard, and Paul George. They're connected already. And Batum's a naturally very gifted defender. So that's pretty much in place. And on the offensive end, they have the ability to go to Paul George or Kawhi Leonard in an ISO game, but they're so gifted that becomes a play. So, basically Kawhi had the ball by himself. You come double, becomes a great play because he's a great passer. He hits Batum in the corner. So they'd rather play that slow down, playoff-style offense, but they got those gifted defenders. So, and Steve Kerr, rightfully so, give them a lot. They're a title contender. This was a big step up. I thought the Warriors played well. They're going to have to play better on the next game to get the W.
Don't forget about Tyronn Lue, too. He knows Steph Curry from all those battles in the NBA Finals. He's game planning against Curry a lot with those Cleveland Cavaliers here. Also, the point totals, another storyline we had, where the Warriors scored. Back-to-back nights, they scored 137. but they barely cracked 100 tonight. Got a garbage time bucket there. And there's a theme here with the losses. The Warriors 4 losses. 3 of the losses, they scored 99 points. Another loss, excuse me, 2 of the losses, 99 points. It would have been 99 tonight without the garbage time bucket, and 98 against the Blazers last Friday night. So the magic number for the Golden State Warriors so far, Darrell, 113. When they scored with 113, they win, and they didn't get close to 113 tonight.
Yeah, looking at this stat sheet, it was one of those grinded out games, and, Clippers kind of made it ugly. Both of them shot, not too good from the three-point line, even from the field. So, like we said, when those veteran teams lock in on the defensive end and try to take your best player out, it's kind of hard to get easy buckets, and they try to make it very hard for the Warriors tonight.
Yeah, and in this back-to-back series, not a whole lot of carryover. Like Bob Fitzgerald said, I don't think there'll be a whole lot of adjustments from the Clippers side. And I do think from the Warriors standpoint, maintain that defensive effort and just let the offense come, which they've done a good job of. They've maintained their defensive presence and intensity. And when they've struggled offensively, it hasn't affected the rest of their game.
Sure. Yeah, Bazemore and Damian Lee coming in with that second unit. They were scrappy tonight.
Yeah,
they were flying around.
Sixth man of the year comes off the bench.
Sixth man of the year. Pascal, baby. You got nothing on him, Karis LeVert. Let's talk about Bradley Beal as we go around the NBA. Bradley Beal with a 60-burger tonight against the Sixers. Heck, he had 57 going into the fourth quarter. The Wizards at one point took the lead there. They lose by 5. And Bradley Beal with only 3 points in the fourth quarter. He struggled in the fourth after dropping 57 in the first 3 frames.
So we're talking about Doc Rivers. He was just in the Western Conference. He know how to guard Steph Curry. He know how to guard James Harden. So I'm pretty sure they were throwing all kind of different defenses and different schemes at him to, get the ball out of his hand. So it happens when you, go up against those good coaches.
Yeah, I think Doc Rivers was saying, you know what, once he gets to a double nickel, then we're going to break our defense out. We're definitely going to keep him under 62.
And the
they got the win, right?
They got the win. The Philadelphia 76ers, and Curry still has an NBA season high. We thought for sure Bradley Beal would drop 70 after going into the fourth quarter with 57. Also, we know what happened earlier today at Capitol Hill in Washington, D.C. We'll look at the way the NBA reacted to the Capitol Hill protests next on Warriors Postgame Live, presented by Toyota.
I'm Grant Liffin with this SNC update. The events at our nation's capital Wednesday had the country in a state of disbelief. Many prominent athletes took to Twitter to voice their opinions. 49ers cornerback Richard Sherman tweeted, "There are certain things my brain could never imagine, and one of them is black people storming a government building and taking things without deadly consequences. But that's just my brain." And Steph Curry quote tweeted a July message from Donald Trump, the president condemning protests for racial inequality, saying, "There's literally a tweet for everything. Cat got your tongue today, huh?"
You see the images of these Capitol Police officers doing everything they can not to hurt these domestic terrorists. I mean, there's no other way to phrase it. They're domestic terrorists who have breached the U.S. Capitol, who have breached the Senate chamber, who are in the Speaker of the House's office with their feet up and damaging things and throwing things around. And what strikes me is not just insurrection, but the double standard that exists in this country, where I defy anyone to try to persuade me that if the people in that crowd had not been mostly black and brown, that there would not have been a much different outcome before the Capitol was secured.
You do not want to miss Race in America, a candid conversation tonight after the Warriors Outsiders is a brand new episode. Of course, Monty Poole will be hosting, joined by NFL.com columnist Michael Silver and the undefeateds Jason Reed, who you just heard there, as they discuss the events that unfolded at the U.S. Capitol building in Washington, D.C. Again, that is tonight, right here on NBC Sports Bay Area, immediately after the Warriors Outsiders. And welcome back to Warriors Postgame Live, presented by Toyota. And fellas, we talked about this in the pregame show with Monty Poole, the events today that happened, and we'll talk about the NBA reaction. How do you think the NBA handled it, Darrell, the reaction today after the protests in Capitol Hill?
I think they did a great job, once again, using our platform, using their platform as well, and NBA.
And in my mind, it was domestic terrorism.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I told you earlier, I was watching with my wife and daughter, and the sadness came over me. But then really the next thing that popped in my head was, what if there was all black people? Yeah. What would happen? And we've had black people killed over a counterfeit $20 bill.
Yeah.
And people rushing into Breonna Taylor's house. Right. But now this goes on, and there's kind of like this, let's see what's going on. So to me, it was disgusting, and just a terrible, terrible day, and it just saddens me.
Yeah, the Bucks and Pistons took a knee today, and they were taking a knee because of Jacob Blake, of what happened to him in Kenosha, Wisconsin, not too long ago. Darrell, we talked about it in the pregame show. Just it's tough, and to us being black, it's not surprising. Willie, you grew up in New York with a diverse group of friends. It's not surprising, but it is surprising when you see guys like that. Just guys and girls going into Capitol Hill with no ease. Nancy Pelosi's office, with your feet kicked up. Man. It's just, like you said, Mullen, well, especially the WNBA.
Yes.
WNBA, those ladies, especially with the Atlanta Dream.
Yes, salute to them.
Just a phenomenal job of just trying to bring awareness to what's been going on in this country.
We have to stand together as humans, right? First and foremost. And I think Doc Rivers, I listen to people who have great perspective. His father was a cop in Chicago. He has a great perspective, great experience. And watching TV today, I watched Van Jones, Abby Phillip, just the dignity and their knowledge of history. And so to me, like I said earlier, it was appalling to me. I'm upset and sad, but I think like Doc Rivers said, we have to address this again. Yep. We can't give up. We got to keep pushing and come together.
Darrell, I got a question for you. You have two young kids, two young boys, African American. What do you tell them when an event like this happens tonight? Or what's been going on? How do you prep them for what the real world is going to be like for them?
Man, you just try to be as real as possible. And that's something that my wife and I, we take, full responsibility of, is telling them the real and what's really going on in this world, and not trying to sugarcoat it, and let them know that, sometimes we're seen different to people. So you just got to, be respectful, be aware of your surroundings, and try to do the best you can to be a great human being in America.
And Barkley, you're talking about maybe being pulled over for a traffic violation.
Yeah.
And then we're watching this, the Capitol being overrun.
Right.
Crazy.
Breaking wind.
Right.
Come on, man.
That's embarrassing.
Darrell and I were talking about it. The paranoia when a cop car comes behind us to this day. Legit registration, insurance, and still you see the cop car behind you.
You can ransack the building.
Exactly.
On Capitol Hill.
Hey, unbelievable. Unbelievable here. We're going to break down Eric Pascal's game here coming up. We'll get back to basketball here on Warriors Postgame Live, presented by Toyota. This in the stratosphere, Bully and D, right? Sixth man of the year, Laverne Sweet Lou. You now have competition because Pascal is balling right now. 15 first half points. He really kept the Warriors in this game against the LA Clippers. Jumpers, threes, playing solid defense. He's doing a little bit of everything for this Warriors roster, especially that second unit, D, right?
Yeah, I definitely think he's doing a little bit of everything. Offensive rebounds, putbacks, finding his rhythm on jumpers, knocking down shots with confidence, and just playing a great role off the bench. Like you said, sixth man of the year for sure. Just keep working.
Yeah, once Draymond Green got inserted to the starting lineup, Steve Kerr has since used Eric Pascal as a backup five, and he's been so efficient, smart player, well coached at Villanova by Jay Wright. Here he forces the switch, the shot goes up, and here he just battles all four Clippers. He's got great vertical leap, great strength, and nice left-handed finish there.
Yeah, that was nice. And right here, recognizing the switch again, another point guard on me. Oh, that's okay. See where the rebound is coming off from, and you just go get it, man. Rebounding outside of your position. I love this right here, and a strong putback.
The new NBA, all the bigs at the three-point line, all the guards in the paint, but make them pay. Go the offensive board. I love this play here, trailing the break. He could stop for a three.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm going to shoot the shot. I have a high percentage. Nice pull-up, too. Just beautiful. Smart play.
Love that. Right here, kind of off balance. Nice pivot foot. Rock him to sleep a little bit. Reggie Jackson don't know what's going on. Knockdown. Great shot right there, right over point guard.
Great efficiency. And here, he can play on the ball defense. He really can. Here, he guards Kawhi Leonard, keeps his hands back, chests up, gets his hand up. A nice box out, get the rebound, let's get out and go. Great individual defense there by Eric Pascal.
Yeah, I love how he's taking the challenge right here, man. He's You know, the last clip we saw him versus Kawhi, now PG right here, just making it hard for him, using his body and in great position right here, and he finished it with a contest. Every coach wants to contest. No matter how the shot is being taken, you got to finish with a contest. So I think he did a great job.
And you see the unique combination of strength and speed, lateral quickness, and power to rebound. So he's a really unique player, and he's found his role. He really has. As the backup five coming off the bench, his efficiency has been off the charts. And I think he's taking the shot that he wants.
Yes.
Now, there's some open threes there. Right. He'll dribble in and take the two, the one he's more comfortable, and that's why his percentages are so high.
57% from the floor, 40 for 3, and coming off the bench there. 6 straight games coming off the bench, 6 straight games of double figures in points. Pascal is doing his job coming off the bench there. We'll have a little James Wiseman reaction to talk about round 2 between the Clippers and Warriors. That'll be Friday night right here in NBC Sports Bay Area. We'll talk about some of the adjustments the Warriors can make right here on Warriors Post Game Live, presented by...
He had a few fumbles tonight, which you usually don't see. At 3 turnovers. But again, for him, you know, very productive night, 18 minutes, but another educational night.
Definitely, and I think, you know, him going up against Ibaka, you know, a defender in this league for years, and didn't look scared at all. You know, he took 2 great mid-range jumpers in front of his face, and it was all net. And he's also understanding spacing and being in the dunker area, because these guys are looking for him. Once they drive, Draymond's going to throw that lob up there, and I think he got maybe 2 or 3 of them tonight. And, yeah, he just got to keep building, keep learning each and every night, so, you know, next game he can learn from those mistakes.
And we saw him make those adjustments in this back-to-back series. In the Portland series, that second game of the Portland, he was much better defensively. So he'll make some adjustments. It'll be exciting to watch him make those adjustments.
Had a nice roll to the basket there in the fourth quarter of crunch time off a Curry pass and got a dunk there. Let's hear from the rook, James Wiseman, here after the Warriors lose to the Clippers.
Hi, James. Kareth Burke, NBC Sports Bay Area. Steve Kerr was mic'd up for this game, so we could hear him tell you, don't let your frustration impact your effort. What was it like getting that piece of advice?
Just trying to get through it. I was kind of frustrated a little bit, but, I mean, I'll get through it. It's my rookie season, so I'll be okay.
What was it that you were frustrated by?
Just, like, the fact that it was, like, a lot of confusion on the offensive end. I was trying to wait on Steph to come off the screen, but he didn't come. So I was like, okay, should I make a move or should I wait on Steph? So that's how I got them turnovers and stuff like that. So it was kind of confusing to me. So I just got like really frustrated. So yeah.
Would you call yourself a perfectionist? How much space do you give yourself to learn?
Most definitely, I call myself a perfectionist because if I mess up one mistake that I know that I can make, I get very, very, very angry. So I just trying to get better, but that's just because I just want to be the best version of myself. So try my best every day to get better. So I feel that that's a plus. I believe so, but just don't be too much of a perfectionist to where I take myself out the game. So most definitely.
Hi, James. Carlos Ramirez, NBC Bay Area and Telemundo. We saw you had that turnover on the top of the key, and then coach called you out, told you a couple of things. Could you take us through that conversation, what that was like?
Just trying to wait until Steph come off the screen, but he didn't come. So I was kind of in the middle, like, should I make my move or should I wait on Steph? And the play was taking too long to develop. So by the time that happened, Serge Ibaka ripped me, and then they got the score on the other end, and I didn't run back. So that was my fault. And I take the blame for my accountabilities, and he just told me to, like, make sure that I don't get frustrated and just get back on defense. But that's something that I can fix. That's nothing.
Man, this 19-year-old, his recall is amazing.
Yes.
And he is hard on himself, man. That is a good sign for the Warriors moving forward.
It definitely is. It sounds like he cares. You know, most young guys come in this league and they're happy to be in better each and every night. He wants to be a star, so he's holding himself accountable, and that's what you love to hear from a young player.
Very responsible young man. And someone told me way back, even the greatest players, you want to be perfect, but just keep making progress.
Yeah.
You know, and perfection may or may not come, but keep progressing. James Wiseman continues to do that. He already told us what he's going to change for the next game.
Right.
So he's got it. And you know what? With his skill and talent, he can change it right now.
Yeah,
that's
no
the beauty. That's the beauty. Knowing it's one thing, being able to change it physically and mentally is another, and he's got it.
You talk about progress. Andrew Wiggins is making progress with this Golden State Warriors roster. 8 for 12 tonight, 19 points. He played really well on both ends of the floor. Let's hear from Wiggins after the loss to the Clippers.
Andrew, what did it mean to you to take a knee before this game?
It just means, we want change. That's the main result. We want change, equality.